Bow wow, bow wow, bow chicka bow wow, bow wow, bow chicka bow wow. Hey guys, Brendan2471 here, and welcome to Diamond Hub Reacts. This is a live stream video, I know. Until I get something that I can video without a live stream, that I can video my stream without a live stream, which I'm going to get tonight, so woo for that. But yeah, today I'm going to be reacting to some stuff. What? Not real sister. Young on the twig. Okay. Rat and Link. Watch Mojo. Seen it. Is there a third part to this the whole series?
The holidays are here. Don't forget you can order on Target.com and pick Nathan Drake, that two-bit thief. Risking it all for some piece of treasure. I guess that's how they know me. How they'll remember me. But that's not who I am. Product not yet rated. Stupid corporate decisions. Number 1. HBO had the opportunity to air The Walking Dead, but passed. Apparently, they thought it was too violent.
That's not too violent.
Hello, Internet. Welcome to Film Theory, where we always recommend the double tap. So let's talk The Walking Dead. In a world where zombies are everywhere, AMC's The Walking Dead is the big boy on the playground. The most popular piece of zombie-related media in the last decade. Except not. They're not zombies, they're walkers. Or biters. I always thought that was weird, but in researching this episode, I found that according to the series creator, Walking Dead takes place in a universe where the concept of zombies doesn't exist in the pop culture lexicon. Hence the characters having to learn about things like attacking the brain. Well, it's good for them, I guess. It means they live in a universe where Uwe Boll's House of the Dead doesn't exist. On the flip side, though, their insistence on calling them walkers now forces me to sarcastically replace all zombie pictures throughout this episode with pictures of tennis ball laden nursing home equipment and Chuck Norris Texas Ranger, the original walker. But there's always been one other thing that's bothered me since early on in the show. And no, it's not the way Rick pronounces things. Anything, everything. Or Carl. It's the fact that by the end of season 1, all of our main characters are killing machines. Deadly warriors who are always on high alert because if they let their guard down for a second, they could be mincemeat for some zombified or fighter-ified creature. They've survived this long because, well, survival is their talent. But despite all of this, zombies still somehow are able to sneak up on them regularly. That is absurd. These are zombies, not solid snake. But it did get me thinking. Our heroes can't seriously be snuck up on that often, can they? How can they be so simultaneously badass, yet still get into these absurd situations with walkers that move at a snail's pace, sneaking up and surprising them? Is it just some lazy writing, an easy way to create tension where realistically there probably shouldn't be any? Probably yes. But here on Film Theory, we try to explain away those logical inconsistencies with the help of science. And today, loyal theorists, I think there's actually something very wrong with our lovable ragtag motley crew of survivors. Something with a perfectly sound scientific explanation. I think they're all losing their hearing. Now, I get it. That's a bit of a weird thing to say, right? Hearing loss? Well, first, let me explain how noise-induced hearing loss works. It should come as no surprise, but very loud sounds can damage the internal workings of the ear. Sound is measured in decibels, and generally speaking, anything below 75 decibels is safe to hear pretty much constantly. However, once you start getting above 85 decibels, you get into the range where the sound you hear can potentially damage one's hearing and cause permanent hearing loss. Once you get over 120 decibels, you actually start to feel pain. The louder the sound, the shorter amount of time it takes to do the damage. Now, that 85 decibel threshold of danger might sound like it's a really high number, but it's not. A normal conversation is usually around 60 decibels. Heavy city traffic is 85. Markiplier's reaction to a FNAF jump scare? Probably around 100, depending on the volume of your headphones. A passing motorcycle, a concert, your MP3 player at max volume, all well above 85. And the decibel recording system is weighted in a pretty unique way, so that in that last example, an iPod turned up all the way actually averages at roughly 105 decibels, which would be 100 times more intense than a sound at 85 decibels. So that's all well and good, but how does it all work? Well, when a noise travels into the ear, it vibrates the eardrum and several tiny bones, which amplify the sound as it enters the inner ear, otherwise known as the cochlea. Here, small hairs are attached to nerve cells. These hairs ride the waves of these vibrations, creating electrical signals that travel from our auditory nerves into the brain. We are then able to translate the signals into sounds we can recognize and understand. The sheer force of the vibrations created by sounds louder than 85 dB run the risk of destroying these little hairs, and once they're damaged or destroyed, they don't grow back. The hearing loss is permanent. So what does any of this have to do with The Walking Dead? Well, consider this. Guns are loud, incredibly loud, and the survivors often shoot them in positions where the guns are right next to their ears, oftentimes in firing squad formation or right next to their faces. Just watch a Rick Grimes kill compilation. It's incredible. Up through March of this year, Rick alone had killed 154 things throughout the 5 seasons, human and walkers alike, and the vast majority of those are gun kills, with Rick firing wildly into crowds of zombies like it's Left 4 Dead. So those are bad enough, but then there are the creative kills where the gun is right up against the ear. Like in season 2, when Rick gets stuck under 2 walkers he just killed and has to do this cool move where he shoots a walker through the mouth of another walker. The gun is inches from his ear. They actually play with the idea of the sound of guns hurting your ears in season 4 when Rick headbutts a man holding a gun to his head. The man fires the gun by accident right next to Rick's ear, and Rick hears ringing for several seconds. But this, I think, is my favorite, where Rick literally turns his ear into the gun before he shoots it. Look, Andrew Lincoln, I get it. I know you're conveying some painful emotions here, but your character is going to be dealing with some painful emotional ear damage when you do that. Again, there are more instances of this that would be interesting to count this video, but you can already start to see how the survivors are putting their hearing in danger. But just how far gone are they? Let's find out. Our favorite sheriff turned walker slayer's gun of choice is the Colt Python 357 Magnum, which, when shot, has been measured to be as loud as 164 decibels. Just to give you a frame of reference, that's over 100 times more powerful than a jet engine, which is rated at 140 dB. 100 times! And he's firing this thing off like it's Christmas. There are countless different types of 9mm pistols used in the show, from Glocks to Lady Smith to Browning high powers, all of which measure in the 160 dB range. Shotguns are also a frequent weapon of choice, including several different types of 12 and 20 gauge varieties, clocking in at 150 decibels or so. Gale's 308 Remington 700, 156 dB. Long story short, just looking at these numbers, we can see that all of them get above both the threshold of danger and the threshold of pain. So, we're dealing with some pretty powerful sound, and it gets worse. A lot of the time, the survivors are shooting in small, echoey, enclosed spaces. I mean, they spent 2 entire seasons and had countless firefights in a prison. As early as episode 1, Rick gets stuck under a tank and kills off 5 walkers. And this makes things much worse for them. You see, sound acts as a wave and can bounce off of walls, creating echoes. That's why I record these episodes in my closet. The clothes absorb sound, so it sounds like I'm right up against you and talking into your ear. Can you hear me now? I'm talking up into your ear. I love you, I love you, I love you. I'm getting all up in you right now. But without any padding to absorb the sound, it bounces until it eventually dissipates. With each bounce, those tiny hairs in your ears are getting smacked with another wave. And when you're dealing with sounds as loud as gunshots, each of those waves is creating huge amounts of damage. Sure, when a sound echoes, it generally tends to become about 40% weaker. But at this high of dB level in such close proximity to your ears, it's going to be very, very bad for our survivors' hearing. Like, say, that tank I mentioned. It's very likely that Rick would have had his hearing permanently damaged in the first hours of the series when he killed the walkers under the tank and in the tank with him. Sure, they do show Rick in pain after the encounter, the sound of the gunshot completely disorienting him, but then they promptly forget about this and have him talking a walkie-talkie a couple seconds later. This is something that happens time and time again on this series, and sound damage has a cumulative effect. Well, one bad blast can have you lose your hearing permanently. See also Archer and his tinnitus. More often, each concussion your ear has to deal with adds on to all the other ones that came before, meaning that with each shot, each creative kill, the survivors are becoming more and more deaf, more and more susceptible to a walker sneak attack. Now, I can already hear you saying, but MatPat, what about soldiers? They're in firefights at least semi-frequently, but they're not all deaf. And yeah, that's true, but there's a key difference. The military uses hearing protection. Allow me to introduce you to the Combat Arms earplug. These things are pretty cool, with 2 sides that offer 2 different types of protection. The yellow sides allow you to hear conversations, but protect slightly against high-pitched banging and snapping, while the brown sides offer complete hearing protection. And even with this preventative action, there have been reports of hearing loss or ringing in ears being a serious problem for soldiers returning home from war. And it's not just from Iraq or Afghanistan. It's been a problem since World War II. So with the amount that they shoot guns and how often the guns are close to their faces, most of the survivors really are putting their lives at risk. It also explains why Rick has to shout literally non-stop to find Carl. But there's one more cool part to this theory, Daryl and Michonne. Since they were introduced, these characters have been fan favorites, mostly because of their really cool weapons of choice, the crossbow and the katana. But now you have another reason to respect these machines of walker death. Not only are they super effective and reusable weapons, but they're also practically silent, which means they're going to be a lot more effective in the series for a lot longer. Daryl isn't deadly simply because of his aim and tracking skills. It's because he's protecting one of his most valuable survival senses, his hearing. Okay, yeah, sure, he rides around on a motorcycle, which is above the threshold of danger, but no one's perfect. Okay? In a post-apocalypse, you gotta do what you gotta do. Long story short, with how much they shoot guns and how often they're in enclosed spaces while shooting, I'm surprised that any characters on the show can hear anything anymore, let alone all the loud, sputtering zombies that seem to sneak up with them with remarkable ease. I guess the survivors of The Walking Dead should more accurately be called the walking deaf. But hey, that's just a theory. A film theory. And cut. Attention anime fans, today we're taking a poll. Which series would you like to see covered on a future episode of Film Theory? Full Metal Alchemist or Sword Art Online? Click on one to choose.
Full Metal Alchemist. Oh wait. I think you already did it. And you did Frozen. Wait, I'm gonna skip to the end.
Got 3 API, I'm on through the operation. We're gonna take
2, 1, happy
stupid corporate decisions. Attention anime fans, today we're taking a poll. Which series would you like to see covered on a future episode of Film Theory? Full Metal Alchemist.
Obviously. Full Metal Alchemist is amazing. Amazing. So there's no step
Take a break from building your snowman because for the first time in forever, we're doing a theory on Frozen.
I'm just watching this because reasons. Party games. I just want to keep up with the series.
Hello, Internet! Welcome to Film Theory. You know the Frozen lore you thought you knew? Well, prepare to let it go because today's theory will change everything you thought you knew about the adorable Anna and the incomparable Adele Dazeem. Now, Disney Animation has picked up a fun little habit in the last few years of dropping hidden Easter eggs throughout their movies, making it seem like some, or maybe even all of them, take place in a larger, connected universe. And with Frozen being the biggest animated moneymaker in, well, ever, they've connected Frozen with a whole bunch of other movies. There are plenty of theories floating around about The Little Mermaid and Tarzan, but the connection I'm most interested in today is between Frozen and Tangled. And before you run away thinking that you've heard this one, because of course there's stuff on the internet that connects Tangled and Frozen, hear me out, because this is a brand new finding that I think is going to change the way that you see these two movies. Yes, they're movies about long-lost magical princesses, but the evidence across both points to a huge secret about the relation between Anna, Elsa, and Rapunzel. Specifically, that Anna and Elsa aren't the sisters in these movies. That's right, Anna and Elsa, not sisters. I mean, is that really hard to believe? Look at the family portraits. One of these things is not like the others. Someone looks a whole lot like the milkman. Nope, it's not Anna and Elsa who are the sisters, but rather Elsa and Rapunzel. And sure, you may be shaking your head now, but the backing for this theory is real. From the movie's lore to Disney's own information. And if you stick with me, I think you're gonna agree. The first pieces of evidence we have come from Disney itself, who have slipped bits and pieces of information about Frozen's lore since the movie came out. First, Frozen writer and director Jennifer Lee confirmed a huge point in a Reddit AMA about King and Queen. What are their names? Agnar and Iduna? Really? Scandinavia, we need to talk about your naming conventions here. In any case, when Agnar and Iduna are lost at sea, they're not going off on any old 3-hour tour. They're sailing for a wedding. It was also confirmed that this isn't just any wedding they're going to. It's Rapunzel's wedding from the end of Tangled. That's huge right there. We already have a solid connection between the movies in two ways. Space and time. Looking at a map, this makes total sense based on where these movies take place. It's been pretty well established that Frozen's location of Arendelle is a hybrid of Arendal and Bergen, Norway. It's so well known, in fact, that the Norway zone of Epcot was completely overrun after the movie came out, and Disney had special Frozen tours set up in Norway to handle all the crazy Elsa fans storming into the country. Probably the only time in Disney's history where people actually were excited to go visit Epcot. Tangled is likely to take place around the corner, just across the North Sea in modern Germany in a fictional city called Corona. This matches where the Rapunzel story is originally based, since it was one of Grimm's fairy tales. So they're definitely close enough to bump into each other out on their royal yachts, or royal ice barges, I guess. I don't know what you guys do that far north. We also know when they connect in time. Based on the hints Disney has already dropped, we know that these movies are 3 years apart, closer than any other Disney princess timeline. We start with extra scenes at the end of Tangled where Rapunzel and Flynn get married and start their happily ever after. We know at this point that Agnar and Iduna are supposed to be on their way to a wedding, Rapunzel's wedding. but they never make it. When the main story of Frozen starts, we're specifically told that it happens 3 years after the shipwreck, which means exactly 3 years after Tangled's wedding. What's fascinating is that this timing plays out both in the movie and in real life at the same time. In the movie's releases themselves, Tangled's release was November 24th, 2010. Frozen was released almost exactly 3 years later to the day on November 27th, 2013, and picks up exactly 3 years later as soon as you start the movie. The timelines follow each other both in the real world and in their own universe, which is brilliant and also not by accident. We know based on the wikis that Rapunzel is 18 after her movie. She gets married shortly after she shows up back at the castle, despite the fact that Flynn says it took many years after years and years of asking. If you need proof for that, Rapunzel already says that he's lying in that line. And if the wedding were to take any longer than that, Rapunzel's hairs would have grown out, and sadly, a delayed wedding would also mean that Pascal would not be in the wedding party. He'd be dead, based on the average lifespan for veiled chameleons. Sorry, man, it's called the circle of life. So Rapunzel is 18 at the wedding, and when Frozen happens 3 years later, we know Elsa to be 21. In short, some simple math tells us that Elsa and Rapunzel are the same age. And I mean exactly the same age. They were born at the same time. They're twins. Fraternal, not identical, obviously. But now I know you're saying that that's just ridiculous. Yes, the movies are connected, and yes, they overlap and stuff, but it's impossible that the two are twins, right? Wrong. In fact, it's completely possible. To prove it, I'll start with some good old-fashioned biology. Loyal theorists know that some of my favorite theories here in Game Theory are backed by genetics, and this one is no exception. One of the reasons people usually assume that Elsa has to be the daughter of Agnar and Iduna is that her eyes are blue, just like her mother's. Now, the genetics around eye color are slightly more complicated than we were taught in 8th grade science class, but to roughly simplify to prove the point, both blue eyes and green eyes are recessive, so you must have 2 light eye alleles to get a blue-eyed kid. When one parent has green eyes and the other has blue, like you see in Frozen, the odds of Anna or Elsa individually having blue eyes is 50%. Yay for the recessive Scandinavian gene pool, but it's just as genetically likely for Elsa to belong to the king and queen of Tangled, who, for the life of me, I couldn't find their names. Turns out, Agnar and Iduna aren't the only ones with blue and green eyes. King and Queen Tangled are yet another blue and green-eyed royal couple. Weird coincidence, right? Maybe not. At the very least, this means that genetically they have the same probability as the Frozen royal couple of ending up with a blue-eyed baby like Elsa. That's not all. Beyond eyes, we can also tell they're twins based on the fact that they're both left-handed. 22% of twins are left-handed, which is more than double the world average. For Elsa, we see her doing the most important things in the movie as a lefty. Her primary ice-shooting hand is left. She creates Olaf with her left hand, touches her face left, unties her braid left, and even tries to save Anna with a crucial left-handed ice attack. It's a pretty similar story over on the Tangled side. Rapunzel is definitely more ambidextrous than Elsa is, and she does things with both hands. However, she shows a preference for her left hand in crucial activities, especially ones where she has to act on instinct. She paints and brushes her hair both with left and right hands, but in an emergency, she brandishes her frying pan with her left hand or bats lefty with it. She naturally reaches out for her parents' lantern with her left hand, holds candles with her left, holds Pascal left, and throws left. And just so you don't think I'm playing favorites, other characters are distinctly right-handed. In Frozen, Anna always knocks right-handed and reaches out with her right hand. In Tangled, Eugene swings his sword right, points right, and touches Rapunzel's face right-handed. But all this left-handedness has to come from somewhere, right? Or left? One of the two. Luckily, it happens that Mommy Tangled happens to be likely left-handed. We don't get a lot of camera time with the kings and queens in general, but Rapunzel's mother is shown with a left-handed preference in most scenes she's in, holding Rapunzel left-handed, gesturing left-handed, and reaching out to touch Rapunzel left-handed after seeing her for the first time in 18 years. There isn't enough evidence on the Frozen side to say whether Ragnar and Iduna are left-handed or not, but we know the genetics line up for Tangled. And finally, we have hair. Honestly, none of these parents are likely to produce children with bright blonde hair like either Rapunzel or Elsa. But, as we learn in Tangled, Rapunzel's blonde hair comes from the magic her mother absorbed from a bright yellow flower. If, in fact, these two are twins, it would also explain Elsa's unusually vibrant blonde hair, which is surprisingly more plausible than the slim genetic chance Iduna and Agnar have of producing a tow-headed ice princess. So at this point, the location of the movie, timing of the movie and biology of the movie all support Rapunzel and Elsa being Disney's true first magical princess sisters. But what about the really exciting stuff? What about their actual magic? These two are indeed twins like I'm saying they are. They should have the same powers, right? I don't know if you've seen these movies lately, but ice blasting, definitely not the same as old healing hair over here. Well, hang on to your anthropomorphic reindeer because there's even more evidence to this theory. First of all, it's really important to reiterate the fact that Elsa and Rapunzel are the only two princesses to ever have magical powers in a Disney movie. Seriously, the only two princesses in the 80-year history of Disney films who can use magic. That's pretty incredible if you think about it. And it's not an accident. This doesn't happen just because they're cool Northern Europeans who share the same magical universe. It's because they share the same magical mom. Like I said before, Rapunzel absorbs magic from a healing potion her mom drinks before she's born. This is how we explain Rapunzel's magic for the rest of the movie. And for better or worse, it kind of makes sense. The writers clearly took the time to build in a backstory that justifies her magic instead of it having to come out of nowhere. So, where's the backstory in Frozen? Where's our magical history lesson? Is it laziness? Well, no. This is an animation team who bothered to draw in Snow White and Sleeping Beauty into Rapunzel's book collection. If they left something out, it's because there's another explanation. No one in the Frozen royal family has magic, or was ever exposed to it. These are the muggliest Disney characters out there. Even when the royal family takes Elsa to the rock trolls, Agnar can't answer right away whether Elsa was born with magic or cursed with it.
Born with the powers or cursed? Born.
What an oddly specific detail you've included there, Disney. But this is the reason. When Agnar stutters in front of the rock trolls, he's showing a natural reaction. Was she born with these powers? Yes. He doesn't know because he wasn't there when Elsa was born with magic. Ever wonder why Agnar and Iduna never show any surprise about Elsa's magical powers? Like, wouldn't you just find it a little bit startling? Worth a trip to the pediatrician at least. We never see them doing normal things you'd expect parents to do in this situation. They don't try to cure Elsa. They don't even seem to look for answers about where her powers came from. Don't you think that's a little bit strange? Well, it's not if you consider that they already know where her powers come from. Her real mother, the same that gave Rapunzel her powers. But okay, enough beating around the bush, let's actually talk about that magic. One of Frozen's biggest criticisms leveled at it from honest trailers to cinema sins is that Elsa's power set has always seemed a bit weird.
Meet Elsa, a manic depressive princess with a confusing set of powers. Like creating life? I think so. They kind of gloss over that one.
Yeah, she freezes stuff, causes major destruction and blizzards, builds ice castles, all that. But then she also brings things to life, creating sentient creatures like Olaf and Marshmallow. Literally, it's all over the place. At first, it actually seems like Elsa and Rapunzel have opposite powers, with Elsa stopping everything from growing and Rapunzel making everything new and young again. A yin and yang sort of situation. But if you look closer, their powers are actually more similar than you think. Let's go through it. In the ending to both movies, the princesses save someone they love. Frozen, it's Anna, and Entangled, it's Flynn, or Eugene, or whatever his name is. To start both scenes, the true love character saves the princess. Eugene saves Rapunzel from Mother Gothel, and Anna saves Elsa from Prince Hans. In doing so, they both die in the process. Anna by freezing, and Eugene with a stab wound. Anna exhales her last breath, Eugene falls limp. These guys are gone. At this point, each of our power princesses literally hugs the true love for an awkwardly long minute of sobbing, and then suddenly discover a new power they never thought they had. The exact same
I ship them.
power. Reviving the dead. Giving things life. Entangled, it's giving Mother Gothel and Eugene life. In Frozen, it's giving Snowman and Anna life. Coincidence? Not a chance. It's the exact same power executed the exact same way. Their powers aren't opposite. In fact, they're twins, just like the princesses themselves. Elsa did inherit the power to revive things, just like Rapunzel. She just also ends up with some nice ice upgrades. In short, everything in these movies, from the setting, the background, the lore, the genetics, the magical powers, even the structure of their own stories, are direct parallels. So now I ask you, look at the evidence, and look at the story one more time through a new lens. Once upon a time in Corona, a kingdom in northern Germany, a sick queen drinks a magical healing potion made from a magical yellow flower right before giving birth. She has twin daughters. The girls are blonde as both are infused with the magic of the flower. One daughter immediately demonstrates magical healing powers when you sing, and the other one doesn't really seem to do all that much. Mother Gothel discovers that baby one will keep her young forever, but she can't just snip some hair, so she has to take the whole baby, which she does by kidnapping her and locking her up in a tower. King and Queen Tangled are heartbroken that baby one is stolen, and they realize they can't risk losing baby two if she's ever discovered to have magical powers. They know Corona is insane and send baby two on a trip across the North Sea to the neighboring kingdom of Arendelle to live with Agnar and Iduna, far away from Mother Gothel. In Arendelle, the king and queen eventually realize that Elsa does indeed have magical powers too. Unprepared to raise a magical child, they try to hide Elsa's powers to protect her from being kidnapped like her sister Rapunzel, closing up the castle, limiting the staff, hiding Elsa indoors. It's to keep the word from getting out to Corona that there was another princess born with magic, and to protect their own daughter Anna from accidentally spilling Elsa's secret or becoming the target of a kidnapping herself. They have her memory wiped. The bad rap Agnar and Iduna get is all in the name of helping to keep Elsa safe until her sister Rapunzel reappears, and eventually the two find each other when Rapunzel ends up in Arendelle at the end of Frozen. So is that the true origin story of Anna, Elsa, and Rapunzel? I guess we'll have to see what happens in Frozen 2. But hey, that's just a theory. A film theory. And
I can't wait to see Frozen 2. Oh no, he didn't put anything at the end of this one. Well, that just sucks. And I wonder. Wait. All YouTube rewinds. No, I need to start from the beginning.
Double rainbow. Oh my God. Look at your man. Now back to me. Now back to your man. Now back to me. This is a video we've been watching a lot in the office here. The YouTube video.
You're crying because you love Justin Bieber?
Yes, that's what it is, the room. We gon' find you. It's cool, I'm fine. I can stop it anytime.
Kids don't know is Justin Bieber is backstage too.
I saw you on the video.
Number one is awesome. So that's YouTube Rewind 2020.
Hi, I'm Rebecca Black, and welcome to YouTube Rewind,
It's
a very
her.
special event where we take a look back at the most watched videos of 2011. This year was a huge year for YouTube. We laughed, we cried, we said, aww. So, without further ado,
You know what?
let's take a look back at the biggest hits of 2011 and see who got number one.
Okay.
No vegetables. Together. Wow. You didn't capture me. Yeah, I'm gay. I feel like
Blowing up. No, just this. Honey Badger, we keep crazy.
Honey Badger won't care. Because Honey Badger's crazy.
And guess what?
My ears are bleeding.
Watch, uploaded, and made YouTube so special. See you in 2012.
No. And this is 2012, the first good YouTube rewind.
Rewind YouTube style.
Oh.
낮에는 따사로운 인간적인 여자 커피 한 잔에 여유를 아는 품격 있는 여자 밤이 오면 심장이 뜨거워지는 여자 그런 맛껏 있는 여자 너는 선호해 낮에는 너만큼 따사로운 여자로해 커피 식기도 전에 원샷 때리는 선호해 밤이 오면 심장이 터져버리는 선호해
Okay. No. This is awesome.
오빤 강남스타일 강남스타일 오빤 강남스타일 강남스타일 오빤 강남스타일
Is there like
Felicia.
I knew her name was Felicia. What's his name? Tana. You could Santa though. Tana. I'm sorry guys, I think my parents are home. They are there. I'm going to name my people I know in this video.
Rewind YouTube style.
Yeah, and then
Rewind YouTube style. Rewind YouTube style.
okay.
Rewind YouTube style.
This is one that I gotta end the video probably, but watch 2013, 2014. want to 2015. I don't have 2015 on here.
Let's do this.
Oh, I forgot. 2013 was the Asia spot.
Return to the back. Get up what it is, what it does, what it is, what it isn't. Looking for a better way to get it out of bed instead of getting on the internet and checking a new hit. Get up. If you can't hear what I'm trying to say, get up. If you can't read from the same page, I know you want it. We came here to live life like nobody was watching.
Okay. Oh. You know, Jenna always has to be lifting something, obviously. And those gold pants. Keep those gold pants that you're wearing in that video in your mind. Keep wearing those gold pants. So, Chester Singh, that's his name. We're up all night to get lucky. 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 Bye.
Let's stop talking and do some walking.
What does the fox say?
The exercises. My mom lost her. I don't know why, but she did. Because my grandmother.
What does the fox say?
I was never able to watch this all the way through, so this isn't an experience for me. I would always end it early because my sisters would always end it early. Like, I never saw that TV and stuff. But
Rewind. Me love rewind. Chasing dreams since I was 14 with the Porsche Plus. And validation comes from giving it back to the people now. Sing a song and it goes like
nice.
and it goes like what the fuck say? You wanna change the world?
You're great. You can do that.
And we go back
Great.
tonight, we'll fight till it's over, so we put our hands up
As the ceiling can
hold us.
like the ceiling can hold us.
Tonight, we'll fight till it's over, so we put our hands up
Ceiling can hold us. Now, it wasn't the age of Fox, it was the age of, the kids. Pigs. The pigs. So much pigs though. So much pigs. It's more pigs. And the pigs.
We're not gonna start slow. And we're always gonna finish fast.
Oh.
Let's take a selfie.
Yeah, I did. He did. Just saying. Not them. Yeah, I did do that. Do like 2015 is my favorite rewind. I don't know why, it just is. Ready? Yeah, yeah. Yeah, man. Ooh. Oh, see, she's wearing the golden pants. Look, she's wearing the golden pants and she wore that thing. She's the queen. It's the queen. It's the queen. You can't deny me. Tyler is the queen. He is the queen. Any younger kids probably won't understand what I'm saying, but Tyler's the queen. And I'm not offending him. You'll understand when you're older. Well, I get it. This video was so funny because I was putting his head near the train and then he took his back.
Good evening, I'm John Oliver. Our top story tonight, YouTube Rewind 20.
They actually did this to their shows. To their shows.
Our next guest is going to do hello.
Is it in your high school shirt? VHS. This is what Flappy Bird is like.
Let it go, let it go. Can't hold it back anymore. Let it go, let it go. Turn away and slam the door. Here I stand, in my life. Never bother me anyway.
Okay. Oh. I just now watch 2015. I just don't. Is it Lily Sings or something? The girl with the hood? Is it Lily? Lily Superwoman, by the way. Like, I think we gotta put it here. But they should have put all the game YouTubers in this area because of the rainbow wall, I'm just saying. Connor! Oh, it's Connor! Yeah. Wait! Oh my god. Is that who I thought it was? Did she make it in this year? Yes, she did! But she was only in for like a second. Mamrie made it in. Give yourself a pat on the back, Mamrie, if you see this. Good job. Pat on the back. You get a high five. Oh, whoops. Okay. Now watch me win. Now watch me win. Watch me win. Do what it's like, yeah. Now I mean yours. Now break your legs. Now break your legs. Now watch me win. Now watch me win. Now watch me win. Now watch me win. Now I mean yours. Now watch me win. Watch me win. Watch me win. That was great. That was Miranda.
You should get to the point where other people would quit. ¡No! ¿Qué estás esperando? Just hit rewind. Catch!
Last time I saw this. This is awesome. Ready? Ready? Map it! Map it! I don't care about these two. Map it! This is the guy that was in the video I was watching. The other two. Let's watch them. That's my fellow. Yeah, all the turns out of honestly, I think O2L should get back together because O2L is awesome. O2L. I can't do it. You guys so much more mature now.
Should we do it?
Let's do it.
That time, you can nice to you.
Here we go.
These are all real videos. Come on. I think that this is the last YouTube rewind. It's in a Tyler and Smosh. Sorry, but like this. Yeah, Michelle. Oh, I don't know who they are. I think that was the last YouTube. What's this? Rewind to the future?
Papa 2, Yoda, take 1, marker.
Hey everyone, it's Lily, aka Superwoman. We are on the set of YouTube Rewind. Look how excited I am. We were on the bar together.
We are in the actual warehouse where they shot the Elastic Heart music video. We're going to be doing a bunch of lip sync battles and some wardrobe battles.
We're gonna win.
We're going to win. We're going to destroy them. They asked me if I had any stunts or tricks up my sleeve, and I said, well, yes, I do.
And we have a lip sync battle with the white and gold team. Everybody knows that the dress was black and blue. Our scene involves Five Nights at Freddy's.
Music starts and it opens up with the skeleton thing behind the wall of the jigger, and I go down the hallway and act scared. This place changes you. It changes you. It messes you up.
I'm sure I'm gonna have to do something crazy because Miranda always does something crazy. Make your dreams a reality. Just do it.
I'm a big YouTube fan. I YouTube everything. Everything.
I'm glad that we're in the movie this year.
Bueno, estamos aquí grabando YouTube Rewind en México. Un desierto está.
Increíble, la verdad está súper padre.
Vale, en este momento estamos haciendo toda la prueba de seguridad para
I
solucionar
don't know
este camión. Estoy aquí con el arnés, que estoy acostumbrándome ahora al movimiento. Puedo hacerme para atrás, puedo hacerme para adelante.
This is the part of the song I don't remember.
Press the button. I have no idea what's going to happen. Oh, yeah. So today we are in New York City and we're doing a scene that might be the coolest
I'm
video
sad that my
on
kid
your Year's Day Day. Nothing is impossible. We are shooting our first postcard, which is to honor the fact that it's YouTube's 10th year anniversary. Ray William Johnson, and We're in the middle of nowhere. We're recreating the most iconic moments on YouTube, giving them a bit of a 2015 twist.
I'm gonna get in a spacesuit and get really weird.
3, 2, 1.
Here we go.
We have to do the wedding dance.
Like, we have to see. Genre, the YouTube rewind. We're off to New York and we're all done. Nope, we're not. It never ends. How do I feel about getting wet right now?
Our bodies are 70% water, so we're really just getting splashed by ourselves.
We should stay against the month.
Not attempted this fix in about 7 years. Lucky we got JJ here.
We went to Mexico, we went to London, we went to New York, and now we're back in LA.
Sorry, guys.
We're Red Link, an evolution of dance. YouTube Rewind 2050. You guys,
Perfect.
back to 1 2 1 last time.
Oh. Top 10 versus YouTuber. Okay.
Unlike pro athletes and Hollywood actors, it has always been a mystery as to how much money YouTubers are making. Keep in mind that making any amount of money on YouTube is much harder than one would think. YouTube's algorithms and CPMs are extremely complicated, and they vary based on a ton of different factors. The following list of gaming YouTube stars is based on current 2015 statistics, and because of the concept of time, they are subject to change. Lastly, this list is based around YouTube ad earnings only. This list does not take into account for brand deals, sponsorships, apparel, book deals, television or movie deals, or anything of that nature, which most large YouTubers are doing. Guillermo Diaz, better known as Willy Rex, is a highly successful Spanish-speaking gaming YouTuber. Originally, he was known for his entertaining Call of Duty and Grand Theft Auto videos. He is now one of the top Minecraft YouTubers in the world. Currently, he's sitting at over 7 million subscribers on his main channel and 5.3 million subscribers on his second channel. With 92 million plus monthly views, Willy Rex is making between 1.7 and 2.2 million dollars per year. El Rubius OMG, real name Ruben Gunderson, is the #1 most subscribed Spanish-speaking gaming YouTuber with a total of 12 million subscribers. Friends encouraged Ruben to start his YouTube channel. They saw that he always had a great time gaming and believed other people would love to watch him play. And boy, were they right. He first started posting videos of Skyrim and Battlefield and has since branched out into a variety of different games. Based on his monthly views, Ruben makes around $250,000 every month, which grosses him around $2.5 to $3.3 million a year. Whether it's Stampy Longhead or just plain Stampy, this guy is making loads of cash. The man behind it all is Joseph Garrett, an English YouTube commentator who posts videos about the game Minecraft as the quirky character Stampy Cat. His early YouTube work consisted of Let's Play videos, which he made for his own amusement. Over time, his audience grew to just under 6 million, and mainly consists of kids 7 to 14 years old, with 138 million monthly views. Joseph is pulling in around 2.5 to 3.3 million a year. The #1 most viewed Spanish-speaking gaming YouTuber is Samuel De Luque, better known as Vegeta777. He's famous for uploading voiceover gameplays of Minecraft, Battlefield, Saints Row, Gary's Mod, and several other games. He is incredibly popular in Spain and Latin America, with over 2,300 uploaded videos and 141 million monthly views. Samuel makes anywhere from $2.5 to $3.4 million a year. Mark Edward Fishbach is known by his YouTube username Markiplier. Fishbach is famous for his comedic gameplay commentary and specializes in Let's Play videos of survival horror and action video games. Using his influence as an internet personality, he's raised tons of money for different charity fundraisers. As of right now, his channel has over 8 million subscribers. His channel amasses about 158 million views monthly, allowing Markiplier to make a hefty sum of $2.8 to $3.8 million a year. With over 12.7 million subscribers and 2.8 billion lifetime channel views, Vanoss is no doubt an internet sensation. Canadian YouTuber Evan Fong started the channel Vanoss Gaming in 2011. The channel mainly consists of comedy commentary gaming, mostly with him and his friends having fun and messing around. He usually plays games like GTA 5, Garry's Mod, and Call of Duty. Every month, his channel grabs around 190 million views. His estimated earnings are between $3.4 to $4.6 million a year. Jacksepticeye is the self-proclaimed most energetic video game commentator on YouTube. Sean William McLaughlin, who sometimes goes by Jack, is an Irish YouTuber who records himself playing many different video games and the occasional vlog. Fans of his videos keep coming back for more because of his high energy while playing hilarious games. With 211 million monthly views, Jack makes between $3.8 and $5.1 million a year. Popular MMOs is a channel ran by a man named Patrick, who is a Minecraft gamer that posts battles, let's plays, game modifications, and other Minecraft-related videos. Although he started off making videos about RuneScape and World of Warcraft, his channel rose to fame when he started uploading Minecraft survival gameplay. Currently, Popular MMO's channel gets about 220 million monthly views. Patrick gets the big bucks, raking in around 4 to 5.3 million a year. The Diamond Minecart is a channel that gets about 260 million views every month. The owner of the channel, Daniel Middleton, started posting videos on YouTube to showcase his Pokemon trading cards. Eventually, he switched over to Minecraft, and that's when his channel took off. As the channel grew, he started to incorporate Let's Plays, challenges, and scripted adventures, where he role-plays as himself, along with the fictitious character, Professor Treyaris. Daniel makes about $4.6 to $6.2 million per year. What can we say about Pewds that hasn't already been said? He is definitely the richest gamer on YouTube, hands down. And he's been the #1 most subscribed channel on YouTube for some time now. Felix Arvid Ulf Kjellberg is a comedic Swedish video game commentator who has absolutely dominated YouTube over the last couple of years. His rise to fame is attributed to him posting videos of himself reacting to horror games like Amnesia and hilarious games like Happy Wheels, with a whopping 300 million views a month. Felix is estimated to make anywhere from $5 to $8 million a year.
This is the story of the Star Wars originals in 3 minutes. Let's begin. The Queen and the Booze twins are separated for their own safety. 20 years of galactic civil war and chaos. Freedom fighters battling the Galactic Empire run by Emperor Palpatine and his henchman, Darth Vader. Together they create the Death Star, a massive space station capable of destroying entire planets. One of the twins, Princess Leia, becomes a leader in the Rebel Alliance, a group of insurrectionist factions seeking to restore the Galactic Republic. Leia steals the blueprints of the Death Star and is captured by Vader before she can return them to the Rebels. Before her imprisonment, she gives the plans to droids R2-D2 and C-3PO. They are jettisoned off to Tatooine. Once there, they unbeknownst befriend Leia's brother, Luke Skywalker, a moisture farmer actually. He receives Leia's plea to get help from Obi-Wan Kenobi and responds by looking for him and finding him. Obi-Wan lies to Luke, telling him that Vader killed his father, and Luke becomes his apprentice. They hire space smugglers to get them to Alderaan so they can deliver the Death Star blueprints to the Rebel Alliance. But the Death Star blows up Alderaan and captures the crew aboard the Millennium Falcon. They attempt to escape, They rescue Princess Leia, Vader kills Obi-Wan, and Luke blows up the Death Star, with the help of the Rebel Alliance and the Force. The Empire strikes back, and the Rebels flee and hide. 3 years later, the Rebels establish a hidden base on the ice planet of Hoth. Luke, Leia, and Han escape and hide in an asteroid, so Vader sends bounty hunters to find them. Luke goes to Dagobah to train with an old Jedi Master. At Cloud City, Han and Leia meet Lando Calrissian, an old friend of Han's who promised a safe haven. One bounty hunter, Boba Fett, tracks them there. Lando leads them into a trap set up by Vader. Han is frozen in carbonite and sent to Tatooine, where he is wanted by mob boss Jabba the Hutt. Leia and Lando escape just as Luke arrives in Cloud City to rescue them. He fights Vader and discovers he's his father. He loses the battle and retreats, but is rescued by his sister. Together, they race off to save Han Solo. They infiltrate Jabba's palace. The king is captured. They break free, rescue Han, kill Jabba, kill Boba Fett, and reunite with the rebels. Leia and Han totally bone. Oh, you know what happens. Luke goes back to Dagobah. Yoda tells him Leia is his sister and dies. Han and Leia discover from the rebels that the Empire is creating a new Death Star. Han travels to Endor to destroy the shield generator defending the new Death Star. Luke surrenders to Stormtroopers so he can be taken to his father to defeat him in battle, but then refuses to kill him, so Palpatine tortures him for it. And enraged, Vader kills Palpatine and then dies from his wounds. Luke escapes the Death Star just in time with Vader's body. The rebels destroy the station. They win. Everyone returns to Endor to celebrate and for Vader's Jedi funeral, and we all assume Han and Leia only stopped their boning session to watch the trailer for the new Star Wars. And that's it for the Star Wars originals. Make sure you also check out the sequels, episodes 1 through 3 in 3 minutes, on Arcade Cloud. You'll find that link right there in the video and in the description below. Hey, we've done a lot of video games in 3 minutes. You can check those out.
SpongeBob SquarePants is a funny show of nautical puns, annoyingly high-pitched laughter, and rape jokes. In the episode Gary Takes a Bath, SpongeBob and his pet snail Gary are imagining themselves as pirates looking for treasure. SpongeBob finds some bars of soap and pretends that they're gold doubloons. As he hands them over to Gary, he says, "Don't drop them," and gives a cautionary wink. To kids, this just seems like an innocent warning about losing imaginary gold. But this is, in fact, a reference to prison rape. As the legend goes, if one were to drop soap in a prison's community shower, they would have to bend over to retrieve it, while allowing another inmate to, well, you know. This episode was banned in the UK and Australia on 3 separate occasions because of the off-color comedy. Some people will give kudos to the writer for slipping in these kinds of jokes, but I just find it disturbing. The main antagonist of the 2001 animated hit Shrek was Lord Farquaad, whose name was purposely made to sound like Farquaad. There's a scene where the little Farquaad was sitting upright and naked in his bed while drinking an alcoholic beverage. He then demands that the magic mirror show him a picture of Princess Fiona. With an apprehensive grimace, the mirror pulls up a photo of the princess. As Farquaad says, "Ah, perfect," a very subtle movement can be seen underneath the sheets where his crotch is located. Realizing he's getting a little too excited, he quickly pulls up the bed sheets to cover up his growing erection. There's no doubt about it, there's definitely some movement under those sheets. He then looks back at the mirror, embarrassed. Visible erections in a kid's movie? What a little prick. Disney's Frozen was an instant smash hit. It had kids across the world singing Let It Go, and had parents clamoring to the toy stores looking for that latest Elsa doll. But there's a part in that movie that has adults snickering to themselves as the kids looked on in confusion. When Anna's talking to Kristoff about the man she married on a whim, he's rightfully skeptical about her knowledge of her newfound fiancé. So he rattles off a bunch of questions to quiz her. After asking about his eyes and last name, he then slyly inquires about his foot size. Anna quickly replies, "Foot size doesn't matter," and looks off to the side, scoffing at the idea. Asking about a man's foot size alludes to the size of a man's penis. When Anna replies size doesn't matter, the young princess is either extremely naive, or she's implying that it's not the size of the boat, it's the motion in the ocean. Of all the entries on the list, this one is the most blatant example of sneaking sex into a kid's film. The Rescuers was a 1977 animated film dealing with kidnapping victims and the mouse organization hired to help them. These pint-sized detectives traveled the world on the back of an albatross, trying to rescue an orphan girl from the middle of the Devil's Bayou. Wow, what a charming and enduring story of heroism. Well, it would be if the production team didn't intentionally put a picture of a bare-chested lady right in the movie. As the mice are flying on the back of a bird strapped inside of a sardine can, in the background there is a totally topless woman standing in the window. For 22 years, the pornographic image went undetected. Then, in 1999, Disney issued a recall on all copies of the film. They claimed that it was added in post-production by a company not affiliated with them. Disney said the aim of the recall was to keep its promise to families that they can trust and rely on the Disney brand to provide the best in family entertainment. Looks like the only thing Disney's providing is the best boobs in the business. Look at those cute little penguins, tapping their little toes and practicing their sex positions. Wait, what? Yep, you heard right. These penguins get down and dirty right in front of you, and your kids were none the wiser. In one scene, Gloria pops out of the water and then slides down across the ice. Well, wouldn't you know it, old clumsy Mumbles flies out of the water and hilariously lands on top of Gloria. As they slip and slide around each other, they find themselves in some pretty unfortunate positions. What follows is a cavalcade of Kama Sutra. They are pretty much doing several erotic sex positions, which to the kids looks like innocent floundering accidents. I'm not sure how two penguins in the 69 position and then into the doggy style got approved for a PG rating. I guess Mumble's feet aren't the only thing that he'll be tapping tonight. Wacko, Yakko, and Dot are the Animaniacs. This was a show that aired between the mid to late 90s. Steven Spielberg was the executive producer. It was a huge hit with the kids as well as adults, garnering about 1 million viewers every week. Intended to be a children's show, sometimes they would go a little bit too far with the sexual innuendo. In the most extreme instance, while the main characters are trying to solve a crime, Yakko tells Dot to dust for Prince. She returns with the pop musical sensation, Prince. Yakko tells her, no, fingerprints. Dot and Prince share an awkward glance before she says, I don't think so. The joke is that she misheard the instructions as fingerprints. This naughty double entendre was never recalled or edited out. Even the creators of the show don't know how it managed to get past the censors. No idea how. Cow and Chicken was an American animated comedy series on the Cartoon Network from 1997 to 99. It featured anthropomorphic animals, humanoid figures that ate with their feet, and a naked red dude that was literally the cartoon embodiment of Satan. Needless to say, this show had a lot going on, but when they aired the episode Buffalo Gals, the proverbial crap hit the fan. A bunch of manly-looking women storm into the house, immediately get on their hands and knees, and start chewing on the floor. The mother then explains that they are the Buffalo Gals, a motorcycle riding gang that randomly burst into people's homes and chews on their carpet. The term carpet muncher is a derogatory slang for lesbians, referencing the act of gay oral sex. One of the bikers is even named Munch Kelly. Later on in the same episode, they sing about coming out, which could also mean coming out of the closet. When they made this episode, it was like the creators were trying to get their show canceled on purpose. Once the censors found out about the over-the-top innuendo, the episode was instantly banned, and now can only be found in the deepest annals of the internet. The computer animated comedy Madagascar was released in 2005. It's the story of animals who live in the Central Park Zoo, but are accidentally shipped off to the titular island nation. In the movie, two of the main characters, Alex the lion and Marty the zebra, reunite on the beach. Alex is very angry about the entire situation and begins to chase Marty. The zebra then runs away in slow motion. He turns around exclaiming, "Oh, sugar honey iced tea." Some kids may think that this is some sort of cartoon colloquialism, but observant adults will take a look at the first letters of each word. It's evident that the zany zebra is shouting out an alternate phrase to, oh shit. Although sugar honey iced tea sounds like a refreshing summer drink, kids should think twice before asking for it at dinner time. Chowder was one of those weird cartoons where you either loved it or you hated it. The Cartoon Network series lasted for 49 episodes from 2007 to 2010. It follows the misadventures of a young chef apprentice named Chowder and his daily exploits under the ever absent-minded culinary coach, Mong Dao. In one episode, Mong and his floating mushroom fairy wife Truffles are in the kitchen standing next to Chowder. Truffles says, "I think it's time to get cooking," and then kisses Mong on the cheek. He blushes, smiles, and his already elongated prominent nose perks up and shakes like an erect penis. They walk off into another room, presumably to have sex, while Chowder says, "Hey guys, where you going? The kitchen is in here." Seeing as how the age demographic for the show was 7 to 12, curious kids were more than likely asking their parents why they left the kitchen to go cook. Nickelodeon cartoons in the 90s were totally awesome. Rocco's Modern Life, Doug, and Ren and Stimpy instantly come to mind. But the reigning king of ratings was undoubtedly Rugrats. The day-to-day adventures of Tommy, Chucky, Phil, Lil, and Angelica kept kids from ages 2 to 11 coming back each week. Every now and then, they would throw a couple of adult jokes in there that flew way over the young viewers' heads. In one episode, the Rugrats' grandpa rents some movies from the local video store. Two of the tapes are age-appropriate films starring the kids' favorite dinosaur, Reptar. The last flick is Grandpa's personal favorite, the adult fantasy film, Lonely Space Fixes. Grandpa gives out a little giggle and then says, "That's for after you go to bed." The film is obviously a porno, so needless to say, once Tommy and Chucky are innocently tucked away under the covers, Grandpa will be in the next room, gawking at bare-naked alien booty.
Okay, how long have I been filming for? Probably a while. Oh, I have been filming for a while. Well, guys, thanks for watching. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe. And I'll see you on the next video. Brendan2471 signing off. Bye.